Hello, everyone. This is Steve Sanaciro, your state senator here in the 10th District in Bucks County. And I'm very happy today to be joined by my friend and constituent, Tom Carroll, the proprietor of Crossing Vineyards in Washington Crossing. And we're going to talk today a little bit about the wine industry here in the 10th District and in Bucks County and the wine trail that a number of the vendors have joined. But first, we're going to start. I'm going to turn it over to Tom, and he can tell us a little bit about Crossing Vineyards and how he came to be in the winemaking business, and then we'll talk more about the industry and what we're doing locally. Tom?
Well, Steve, thanks. Thanks so much for taking your time out during this crazy period that we're all living in with the pandemic. We really appreciate it. And certainly the Carroll family and Crossing Vineyards and Winery appreciates it, as does the rest of the wine trail, including our 7 total wineries in the wine trail. I can tell you it's been a tough year for all of us. And, you know, we certainly, being in the hospitality business, in the wine business, it's been difficult. But, you know, you asked me to talk a little bit about how we got here and how we started this. It's a great backstory, and I know you've heard it before, Steve, so I don't mean to bore you with it, and maybe some of the listeners and people watching have also heard it. But we started this venture at the wish of our 10-year-old son when we moved to our property in Upper Makefield, and back in 1986, and Tom, at the breakfast table, day number 3 of living on the property, looked out the window, turned to Christine and me and said, "Guys, wouldn't this make a great vineyard and winery?" And I have to tell you, you know, like you, and I know you're a great dad, I'm a good dad as well, and there's many people watching that are good parents. I can tell you, I looked across the breakfast table and my exact words to Tom were, "Eat your breakfast. I got to go to work, you know, eat your Cheerios." And I ignored him completely. Honestly, I ignored him. A 10-year-old kid talking about the wine business, ridiculous. So he never let it alone. He got a fabulous education. He went to Princeton Day School. He went to Vassar College. He's our only child, so we call him our limited edition. And as our limited edition, he always took us on a journey. And certainly throughout his high school years and throughout his show business, he was an actor. You may remember he was an actor, Steve, and he did a lot of professional acting. He was a very successful working actor. And he ended up moving to California after he graduated college. And of course, it was a painful thing to have your limited edition only child living so far away. And many nights, Christine and I would just lay in bed and think, oh my gosh, is he ever coming back? And I always said to Christine, he will be back. And I just kept that mantra going. And for sure, he did return. And the way that happened, he called me up one night from California at 3 a.m. And any parents that are watching know if your kids are on the West Coast, this is what happens. They call you at ungodly times. And he called me at 3 a.m. I answered the phone. Christine, who was sleeping on my left, was sound asleep. An hour into the call, he said this: "Dad, I want to come home. I want to plant these vines. I want to establish these roots, at the same time establish my roots." Well, he had me. As I started bawling, I woke Chris up. She's bawling. He's crying. We're like, "Move back. Let's do this." And as you may remember, because you were part of our 10th year anniversary several years back, in 2003, we opened the business. We formed it in 2000. We opened the business in 2003. And it was just an amazing thing to be able to, on the property where Tom was raised, even though we lived originally in Yardley, in Lower Make, but then we moved up to Upper Makefield. And, you know, Tom was raised there from a 10-year-old child. And here we were this many years later, forming this amazing business, you know, in Bucks County. And it was great that Tom came back to Bucks County to his roots. So he really did come back to his roots and establish new roots through the winery. The winery has been an amazing journey for us. We're in our 20th year, believe it or not, this year of forming the company. And we have a tremendous local following as well as a complete following all across the United States. We ship wine all across the United States. And we've grown immensely over the years. And I have to tell you, this year, with all the difficulties for the hospitality groups, the restaurants, the hotels, and some of the other hospitality people, it certainly has not been easy. We're very grateful for the PPP. We were very grateful for Back to Work, the Bucks County grant, Back to Work grant. We received both of those, which I think were an immense help to us, certainly. And we're hopeful there's going to be maybe some more of that moving forward over this next year. We tried to really follow the governor's direction. We didn't always necessarily agree with everything that was coming out of Harrisburg, but we're very loyal to our state, and we did what we thought was the right thing to do, was to protect our clients, protect our family, protect our people working for us and all our employees. And we have followed it to the rule, including serving a meal. And I'm sure you're familiar with some of these things.
Right.
And not easy to do in a small business like ours, but we did it. We successfully did it. We're continuing to do it. We maintained the latest restriction we had over the holidays. We did that all through the holidays. It was very difficult, I'll be honest with you, but we're grateful because, you know, the community has supported us. And it's really a big thing to see that, because curbside pickup, we just went to something so creative, and I'm so happy we did it. And you're all familiar with this, I'm sure, with the QR codes, where you can hold your camera over the QR code and you don't take a picture, you just hold your camera there, and then you just tap the pop-up that comes on your screen, and it shows our whole menu. And then what happens, because we took it to a new level, the latest and greatest, you actually place your order right there. So you place your order right on your phone. You actually pay for your order right there as well. So you complete the entire transaction and you do it contact free. So that's one of the key things that we put into play, both not just from curbside pickup, but also from anybody wanting to come onto the property and consume on the property, following all the other, you know, social distancing rules and mask wearing and everything else. So we've kind of like, you know, migrated through this last year, almost a year. As you know, it started right after St. Paddy's Day. And we've had a very, very positive reception from our customers and from our Bucks County, you know, friends. And I can tell you, in June, when the governor opened things back up, we really got very busy because we were able to be outside. We were able to spread everybody out. As you know, you've been to our property many times. Right. We have a beautiful site. So we were able to maintain not just 6-foot social distancing, but in some cases, 20 yards of social distancing. So we were able to spread everybody out. It really made a big difference. I think the word got out to the public. People felt very safe and very comfortable coming. So that really helped us a lot. We're of course struggling now with the colder, lousy weather coming in. We kept our tent up. We just are taking our tent down on Thursday because you can't keep these tents up all through the winter. The snow's a problem. And also the tent has to be maintained and cleaned and taken care of that way. So the tent will come down on Thursday, but at least it got us through the latest thing over the holidays, which was critical for us, right? So now we're back to inside. We are part of the voluntary program. So because we signed up for that program, we're allowed to have 50%, as you probably very much know, under the guidelines, and we're following those to a T. So all in all, I think, you know, the people who know we're doing the right thing, I think it has helped us. And I think people feel comfortable coming. And I just can't wait for this vaccination to get out there for all of us. And we're ready. Christine and I are ready. And Tom Jr., we want to get the vaccination, and we want all our employees to get it. We are very, very happy and blessed because none of our employees got sick. You know, we really followed closely the rules, and I think it paid off. So that's what helped us get through. I think we paid attention to the whole thing. We took it very seriously and continue to do so. And we're going to continue to do what the right thing is to do moving forward. On the wine trail side, I think it's been a little more difficult for the wine trail because there are 7 independent wineries. Everybody's a little bit different. Some people are not open right now. Some people are closed, and the smaller guys, I think it's a little tougher for the smaller ones. We're a little larger, as you probably know, along with a couple others on the trail. And we do so many other different things, not just wine tastings, but we do weddings, we do private parties and some other things as well. Right. That was kind of painful in the early stages, but we were able to help a lot of people. We were able to move a lot of weddings. I know you personally had some family stuff as well with the wedding, and it's tough. And, you know, picking up the phone and listening to these brides crying on the phone. So we tried to help wherever we could help. We tried to take the high road wherever we could. And hey, it's in the books now this last year. I mean, I can't believe, you know, we are where we are, and we've gotten through this in one piece. So I hope that answers your point and presents it well to everybody, so you can see some of the struggles we've had. We have friends that own restaurants. We know what they've gone through. it's not been easy for any of us. I mean, not just those of us in the hospitality business, but for you personally and for all of us. We're all suffering through this. So we're just grateful that we're still standing after this, and we're looking forward to a very successful 2021.
Well, that's it's really well put. Look, it's an understatement, even of the new year, to say that this has been a very difficult 10 months or so. And, I really personally appreciate the fact that, you and a number of other businesses in our region were really conscientious about following the rules. There were obviously folks who were not, and, it was a tough situation. It continues to be a tough situation. People's livelihoods are at stake, and balancing that with the health concerns, of course, is a tough thing to do. And the governor's office they've tried to do their best on that. There have been some situations where there have been disagreement, and I think those have been fair and reasonable disagreements. But I think there's no playbook for a pandemic like this. And I think everyone has tried to do their best to balance it out. And at the end of the day, to try to save as many lives as possible. What I think people need to realize now, though, is that here we are in the winter of 2021. We're in the midst of this second wave in the pandemic, which all the experts from Dr. Fauci on down had predicted was going to happen. And as a consequence, we all have to be much more careful now, wearing masks, practicing the social distancing and good hygiene. But we also have a responsibility to our friends and neighbors like you, who own these businesses that have been so vibrant and such an integral part of the fabric of our community for so long now. And that means that in this time of great difficulty, we need to be there for you. We need to be doing curbside pickup as much as possible. We need to be patronizing these businesses as much as possible, and really being there to get us all through these tough months, so that when we come out the other side of this pandemic, and God willing, that will happen sometime in the next few months, Crossing Vineyards and all the other wineries that are part of the wine trail here in Bucks County will be with us, and they'll continue to prosper moving forward. And the other thing, Tom, I think about, that was a great story about how Tom Jr. First brought this up as a 10-year-old, and then when he decided to move back from the West Coast, came to you and Christine about this, and it's a traditional American entrepreneurial story about coming up with an idea, pursuing that dream, and then ultimately succeeding with it. And for those of you who haven't been to Crossing Vineyards, it's a tremendous place. The Carrolls have done it right, and it is, we're at that moment now where we can really make a difference. But people think about Bucks County, don't think wine, right? People think, they think of California, they think of Napa Valley, Sonoma. But the truth of the matter is there's a lot of great wine that's being made right here. And Crossing Vineyards is a great example of a vineyard that grows its own grapes and, does the whole process and produces a great bottle of wine. Tell us a little bit about, both for you and some of the other wineries, how consumers can purchase your wine, obviously at your property. And as you just went through, you guys have gotten ahead of the curve in terms of the process of doing it to be as least dangerous in terms of transmission of the disease by using cell phone and the different technology that enables you to do that much more easily. But what about its stores too? Because I know your product is available at a number of different locations.
Yeah, we do sell our product in several places. Certainly, we're in McCaffrey's, we're in Acme, we're in a couple other retail spots. It's a little difficult because not all our wines are there, so the consumer may not find exactly what they want. We're also proudly with the Pennsylvania Liquor Control Board and with the LCB, and we're in quite a few liquor stores that are state-owned stores. But again, not all our product is there. Only a select number of our product is there. We make 26 different wines, and probably about 8 are in the Pennsylvania system in the LCB stores. So that's always a capability. But we're also online. We have an online store, and you can just go right to our website. I can get a little commercial probably to crossingvineyards.com. And at our website, you can make all direct purchases. If you spend $125 or more, it's free shipping. If you decide you want to come in and pick up instead, and you're spending more than $125, you get 15% off for the pickup. And we also have a wine club. If you're in our wine club, you can get as much as 20% off. So we have a couple really nice discounts there that have worked very, very well, especially on the free shipping side. If you're local, really local to us, like Newtown or Upper Make or Lower Make, and you need product quickly, we can even bring it right over to you. And we generally do that free of charge if you're spending over the 125. So that's the easiest way. And what a lot of people do is they're doing curbside pickup, and the curbside is great because you do it all electronically, as you know. And then when you come to the winery, all you do is hit that call button out front, or you call us right up and we simply have you pull in. We come right out. It's no contact, and nice and clean and nice and easy. That's been very, very successful for us, very successful.
That's
and
great.
Also, I just want to mention that, a lot of times people think that how can you do this in Pennsylvania, right? And
Right.
I don't know if you even know this, Steve, but Pennsylvania was the first, believe it or not, the first vineyard in the United States was in Pennsylvania. It wasn't California. I know it's crazy, right? So William Penn put the first vineyard in right over in Fallsington. And the reason why we were able to grow grapes here and do that, there's only 2 latitudinal bands in the world where you can grow grapes. And we're in the latitudinal band in the Northern Hemisphere, and there's a mirrored one in the Southern Hemisphere. And everybody knows latitude runs horizontally. And right in that band in the Northern Hemisphere, it's all the places, it's all of California, it's all of, Europe in terms of, France, Italy, Spain. And then down in the Southern Hemisphere, you have Chile, you have, all of South America, basically. And you've got, New Zealand and Australia and South Africa. So, that's where grapes typically are grown and where they typically come from. But interestingly, we're in the middle of our latitudinal band, and east to west, we're about in the middle there. So we're right about in the middle both ways. And that's why William Penn was very successful in planting the first vineyard in the United States. And we've done well. We've won over 450 international medals. We have a phenomenal product. We have a phenomenal following locally. We really do. And I think the one thing that has come out of the pandemic for us positively, a lot more people have been introduced to us now that were never introduced to us. So we're grateful, from that aspect, even though certainly a lot of people have suffered, a lot of families have suffered. And, we even have had the disease in our family, and everybody survived it, thank God. But, we don't know what the long-term effects are, as we all know. But, for all the families out there that are watching or listening that have had a problem, our hearts go out to you. Our prayers certainly go out to you too. So, we know how hard this has been for so many people, not just for the hospitality business. All of us have suffered through this.
Right. No doubt about that. And thank you for adding that too, about all the folks who've had a personal impact on this, and especially obviously the families who have lost loved ones as a consequence of this disease. So, there it is, folks. We have a vibrant winemaking industry right here in our own backyard in Bucks County. Crossing Vineyards is a great example of that, and they make a great product of, as Tom said, a large number of varietals of both red and white wines. And
don't forget our chocolate cherry truffle, which is very popular.
Okay.
We have this port wine, and people call from all over the country wanting our great chocolate cherry truffle port wine, and it is fantastic. If anybody hasn't had it, you need to try it.
I have not, so I will try that.
You got to try that. Yeah,
I like port, so I'll definitely try that. So and the wine trail is there are a number of wineries here in Bucks. We will have information on the website with a link to the wine trail, so you can check them all out. And as I said, especially during these winter months, when we're all already ready for the spring. I don't know about you, Tom, but I was ready for the spring, I think the first day of December, to be honest. But then to layer on top of it this pandemic, I think we're all ready to get out of this. We have light at the end of the tunnel. The tunnel's a little bit longer yet. We have to get through it. But if we follow what the health experts say and we do everything we can to help our local businesses, particularly those on our wine trail, as we've been discussing here today. We'll all get out of it on the other side healthy and with a strong community. And so I appreciate all of what everyone is doing to help make that happen. So, Tom, thank you very much for taking the time to be with us today to talk about this. Please pass along my best to Christine and to Tom Jr. And to your entire family. And, we're looking forward to all getting together again when this is over, and we'll raise a glass of wine together.
Thanks so much, Steve. And thanks to all the Bucks County people out there that have supported us through this. We're very grateful. You can call us anytime, and we love to come to the point where we're all back outside again and we're all back to business again. And just as a side note, I should mention to you, we are going to go back to having live music inside now that we're back inside again, even though we're following again all the restrictions. But starting this Saturday, live music at the Vineyard. So come on over,
Okay. Well, good. Well, we got that out there. And again, Tom, I really appreciate what you're doing. And for all who are watching this, please do your best to support our local wineries and support all of our local businesses to get through this very difficult time, so we all come out of it together healthy and stronger than ever before. Thank you, Tom.